The first thing we're going to do is a crostata. That means a two-crusted pie in Italian, and we're going to be using dried figs. And to do it, I want to make a wonderful fig and pear filling for you first. So I'm just peeling some pears. You want them slightly ripe, not too overripe, because then they'll be too mushy. And you just want to peel the pears and then cut them up into slices. So if you want to do this part ahead of time, you can peel all of your pears, and you need a pound of pears for this. And you can cut the pears up and put them in lemon water. So you want to make thin slices of pears, just like this, and then hold them in some fresh lemon juice and water. You can do this the day before, actually, just to make sure that the pears are all covered in the lemon juice and water. So here I have some, you see, already in lemon juice. Take them and strain them out. I'm going to add the one that I just cut up, and that's going to be enough to fill, with the rest of our ingredients, a 10-inch tart pan. So there are our pears. And then for the figs, we're going to be using dried figs. So you take the stem off, just like that, and then you take the figs and you put them in a pan. And here we have the figs that we cooked, just covered them with water, you see, and we cook them until they're very soft and plumpy. This is really very easy because you can do the filling, as I say, ahead of time. So now we're going to get rid of this because I'm not going to use this today, but you could save that and use it for something else. And we want to cut these figs up now, just into chunks. So there are our figs, all ready to go. They go in the bowl. Figs and pears. Put that aside. And then with this, we want to have some orange peel, candied orange peel. And here it is. You can buy this in your grocery store. You can buy it in a specialty shop. That gives just a really nice flavor to the filling. And then what I did was I toasted some pine nuts. So for a little crunch, we have pine nuts. And then because I told you that the figs have a lot of natural sugar, we're not adding a lot of extra sugar to this. So about 2 tablespoons of sugar go in. If you want to add more sugar, you can. And a little bit of fresh lemon juice. Now, we're going to mix this all up. This is our filling. Doesn't this look good? We're going to set this aside while we make the pastry. So we're going to let this sit around and just marinate a little bit. So for the dough, you need some unbleached all-purpose flour. So here we have 2 cups of flour. We're going to add a pinch of salt for flavor and color. We're going to add ½ a cup of sugar. And we're going to add about 6 tablespoons of butter. We'll do this right in the food processor. If you don't have a food processor, you can do this by hand. So now we're going to put the top on, and we're going to pulse this. Pulse just until the butter starts to disintegrate into just little beads. Looks a little bit mealy. When it does, because you don't want to overwork it, then you want to add some egg yolk. So here we have 2 egg yolks, and I'm going to just slightly beat those up and add some cold water to this. Now, I don't know how much water this is going to take. I'll know when the dough starts to go around the blade. So I'm just going to add, a couple tablespoons. Mix the egg yolk with that, and with the motor running, go right through this feed tube. Adding it, and then watching this, and I can tell that I need more water. So I'm going to add it right through the top, a little at a time, and I can see that that's just about right. So let me see what we've got here. Okay, I don't want to add any more water to that. Dump the dough out onto a board, and you want to just get it into a disc shape. So take it, and just with your hands, get it into a disc, And then you want to refrigerate this because you don't want to work with this immediately. It'd be a little bit hard to roll out. So there is my disc. You take that, put it on the paper, fold it over. Comes good. You put it in the refrigerator and you let it get cold. That could take a couple hours. You could do it the night before and then bring it out the next day. And then you want to have your tart pan. You want to use a 10-inch tart pan with a removable bottom. And here it is lined. Make sure you've rolled the dough out enough to have an overlap over it, over the sides. So now here is our filling. That's that fig and pear that we've had sitting around now. I'm going to mix that up, put that right into the shell, and spread that out so it's nice and even. And then you have that other piece of dough. Remember, the second half you saved to do the top, and you roll that out. And you can either just put a simple top crust on it, or you could do some strips, like a cross strips across the top, or a lattice work. You can do some weaving if you have the time and the patience, but I'm just going to put on these strips for you so you can see how this may go, just like that. See how easy that is? So pinch those right to the edge, break off the excess as you go along. And your oven is on at 425 degrees because you're going to bake this, for about, I would say, 35 minutes or so. You want to watch it. You want to make sure that it's nicely browned all over the top. So there is the excess dough, and with that you can make some little cookies. If you have little children at home, that's great. And now you want to brush the top of this with some milk. Let's give this a nice little shine. Look at how pretty that looks. Gives it a nice little shine. And then if you want to, you can put some crunchy turbinado sugar right over the top. This is sugar that hasn't had all of its molasses taken out. That's why it's brown. So turbinado sugar over the top, or you could just use granulated sugar. And then to ensure that you don't have to clean the oven, if you don't have a self-cleaning oven, I like to put this on a baking sheet. So in it goes. And that's all there is to making the fig and pear tart.